Welcome back to the 5 chapter rule. This will be episode 6 of season 2. Today we're covering I used high level medicine to counter magic, even though it's not really high level medicine, it's quite basic, but I digress. The brief story summary for this one was quite tiny, really. Just a realistic take on a modern doctor in another world treating fantasy creatures without magic or modern equipment. Except for he is using the modern equipment, but
I believe this is our Isekai slot.
This is our Isekai slot, yeah. I mean,
this was not. This is the medical one.
Medical one. But anyway, the plot basically for this beginning bit is while our protagonist was on his way to become a doctor for an island without one, his boat was struck by lightning, which sent him to the fantasy world. I mean, it's a different Isekai method to what we're used to.
It wasn't even his boat. He was in his house, and he randomly got struck by lightning, and it destroyed his house and killed him.
He was on the boat.
He was already at the.
Was he?
Yeah, he was already there.
Did I see that wrong? I swear.
Because he got to the village, couldn't understand any of the people talking, and he's like, "Oh, we'll chat tomorrow." Goes into his house and gets struck by lightning.
Oh yeah, it's not on the boat, is it? No, his house got blown up. Oh, literally. Okay. I go on. That's just unlucky as all hell. My God.
I'll get into that.
Well, I guess that island isn't getting a doctor though now. After all.
It starts off with for every 1,000 doctors, there's 2.4 doctors in Japan, and him being the ultimate good guy that he is, took an assignment for an island that doesn't have one, and then got killed, so the island still doesn't have one.
And it makes such a big deal, the manga, about it, doesn't it? It's a bit of a political bit there about it, and it's like, oh, yeah,
I'll get into that, but yes, it does seem incredibly political.
I think it's a fair point, though, to be fair.
It is a fair point, because a lot of people, Westerners, for example, would not know that information.
To be fair, UK don't have a particularly great amount of doctors in some regions. They're all down south and good in some parts, and up north you don't get as many. But anyway.
So plot-wise, it starts off with him, and then he goes to the other world, like you do.
Yep.
Which has corrupt priests, but we'll get into that because that's a plot point for later.
We get the common tropes of humans enslaving beastmen and an evil church.
So he's summoned as normal, by the god, because I'll get into that.
Apparently, but yeah. I tell you what, these two tropes though, the evil humans and the evil church, is becoming incredibly tiring.
Yes.
In mangas.
Wait until you read more Isekai. It's miserable. So he gets...
I read about Isekai.
Yeah. So he gets transported to this world. The first thing he sees is his assistant, basically, the slave lady, Kurone. And the giant...
Isekai's obsession with slave girls, I have to say.
Because it's an easy trope to show how good the main character is. If he saves a slave, therefore he's a good character.
I normally know that.
we know that, but yes, it is. Then they're attacked by a beast, a giant beast thing. We don't know why. They just are.
Well, we're forgetting the fact of our protagonist was very fortunate when he landed in this Isekai world, that he was near a very adorable slime who can grant him the ability to learn languages and save him from a giant chimera.
Yeah, the chimera that is the guardian of the land, and the slime is apparently stronger.
Yeah, it's a slime with a little tree stump on its head.
Jumping on his head and basically starting to drown him for a while. It grants him the ability to understand this world's language.
Very convenient, this...
well, if he was summoned by a god, which he probably was, The fact he doesn't understand their language is stupid, because he would need to know their language to cure people.
Which makes me wonder whether the slime is a divine creature.
Probably.
I'm expecting, considering how much this series from what I've seen so far is very tropey. It follows a lot of the isekai tropes. So I'm gonna guess this little slime guy is gonna come out some point later on with it early. I don't know how long it'll take, but eventually come out. This slime is one of the ancient, powerful creatures, which is so incredibly powerful. Just really nice, like the spider god thing in the isekai about that guy who builds the village, the farmer guy.
Or the ancient demon spider.
Yeah, which is it just happens to be it's nice and friendly with him, and it just happens to be one of the most powerful creatures in the entire
What, and
universe.
saves the dragon queen from death because they were old friends and that's the only reason she lived.
Yeah, this is kind of what I'm gonna guess this
We
slime's gonna
digress
be.
though. So he
Yeah.
saves the lady and goes back to her village, which was apparently really close for some reason, and meets her grandfather, who is an absolute douche.
The whole village was a whole douche. They sold all the young ladies to be slaves to spare their own lives, not for any other real reason than just like, we want to make sure that the majority of us get out. It's all right, so we'll just sell these.
Yeah, he says there's nothing left in the village, so he wants the people to leave and live better lives by selling them to slavers.
Another trope.
And then we've got the healing magic is human exclusive,
Which is interesting.
which will bring up a point I'm going to make later, but not at this exact moment. And
well, it does state the reason why. I might as well mention it because it's a key point for the story. Is apparently humans were very, very buggered by the other races being so much more powerful than them, and they were getting very heavily bullied to the point where they were probably going to go extinct. So apparently, God, it's very clearly the Christian biblical or Abrahamic. Sorry, no, so say the Abrahamic God. And he was very much like, yeah, I don't want my people being wiped out by other creatures. So he granted them healing magic, but it also makes a comment that, but the humans some of the humans have started now using this to their own gain. So therefore, God has brought on the backup plan, which I'm guessing is supposed to be the main character.
Yeah, the main character, because they monopolized healing, so they sent a human to teach healing.
Yeah.
But then it's also said by the totally not corrupt evil priest douche that if other people realized how to heal, then since they've treated everybody like garbage, they would be attacked by everybody because they wouldn't be needed anymore.
Yep.
And one thing I found vaguely interesting, for some reason, these slave collars are not magic, they're just collars.
Those big, giant, thick-ass chains.
Because a lot of times they can't be removed for a reason and they have compulsion magic based on them. This time they're just collars.
We don't see much magic in this stuff other than healing, purification, and fire. That's it. So far, magic doesn't seem to be that big or powerful, really.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of the other races yet, because it did introduce the demons in 5. The ones who look like Yakuza.
Oh, yeah.
The blatantly demon Yakuza guys.
Except for not demons, the dragonkin.
They look like demons from this point, but...
Yeah, because they've got horns.
Yeah.
But the dragon race. But
yeah,
that's their human form.
In Chapter 5, he's said to want to go to the elf village to cure their coughing up blood disease. So he'll probably do that, and then the elves will gain the ability to learn from him and heal people.
So the series is very much a mix of serious stuff and silly stuff. So far, haven't felt any tonal whiplash at least, which is it's got a relatively alright balance between the slime companion helps lighten the mood. Just like Cells of Work, this manga explains medical things for you, so you could consider manga educational, although nowhere near to the same extent Cells at Work is. That's a masterclass of educational manga. This is, I would say, someone trying to jump on the bandwagon of it rather than they're fully dedicated.
But I bet it has the standard medical tropes too. Like, I can
Yeah.
guarantee at some point, one person will not be able to breathe and he will have to cut a hole in their throat for them to breathe. Every single
Or
medical show has it.
well, when I'll say this because when I looked at this manga, it did show me one panel of him. Not that, but a lady's lung had collapsed, so her cavity was filled with air.
Yeah,
So
there we go. There it is.
shove a rod into her chest
There it is.
to puncture the air. So I know that's an upcoming thing. I think it said chapter 9 or
I
something.
love that trope. It's in every single one.
At least it wasn't a throat. At least it was a chest cavity thing, and it is an actual genuine thing. But
Does he
yes,
also, at one point, learn electric magic to to shock people's heart into beating again? Because that happens a lot too.
does it?
A lot of medical isekai stuff
Oh,
to have that.
I was I don't, yeah, it'd be interesting to do that.
But we digress. Up to characters, because we've done plot so far.
Yeah. There is one plot point I do want to make out here, actually. There's one thing which really annoys me. It makes it quite clear that quite a lot of these races are technically advanced to a certain degree, but not a single person in this universe knows that, you know what, you should probably wash your hands before eating or clean
I mean, he
yourself.
was talking to the beast people. I assume the
The
elves would
elves
know.
as well. The elves as well. He told the elves. He's told everyone so far to clean themselves. I'm sorry. People worked out that cleaning yourself is a good idea very early on in technical thing. If they can make glasses, which you see someone with glasses, if they can make glasses, they definitely know you should clean your hands. So the whole big thing about how all these races do not know that cleaning your hands and cleaning yourself is a good idea seems a little bit far fetched. They could have used a bit more less obvious things to him to teach. So far, the only thing I've seen him teach so far is you should wash your hands. Oof, you're really bringing in some great medical knowledge there, mate.
I mean, he's taught a lot of other things, but I'll get into that when we're discussing him as a character.
Yeah. So I guess we'll go to. So our main guy is Amane Yuti. I'll probably pronounce that wrong, but it is a young surgical doctor. Very quickly, the manga does state that he's a kind of guy that everything he does is for the sake of others. And a good example we brought up earlier was about his friend was actually going to be the one transferred to that remote island, but as he's just found out he's going to be a father, it wasn't really appropriate for him to move. So Manny stepped in his place, even though this would greatly affect his career. And we've also seen that he doesn't seem to have much fear because, like, he tries to ward off a chimera of a bloody pen torch without a bat and eyelid.
I mean, the camera wasn't trying to kill him, I suppose.
It was at that point, it was.
I thought it was intelligent enough
rampaging.
that it wouldn't have done, but you never know.
Well, it hit Corona as well. That's why she was badly
Well,
injured.
I mean,
He
it
was
was
on a
attacked
full
by a
rampage.
spear, so you never know.
Yeah, but yeah, he was on a full rampage. But I mean, I guess that's one problem is we're not getting much of emotional range from this character. They've made him a bit too perfect. Would you agree?
He's way too hyper competent. Yes.
So, have you got anything else to say about him?
Not really. He's kind of just the perfect trope of I can do anything with medical knowledge.
Yeah, especially after he looks like quite a young doctor. The fact he's got all, basically, I think he's a junior doctor rather than a senior doctor. But he's a walking dictionary with this medical knowledge, which does seem a little bit weird. I mean, hell, how many times have you gone to doctors and they haven't needed Google?
I mean, there
Not
is a lot
often.
of medical knowledge. He just somehow perfectly remembers all medical knowledge.
Yeah,
Somehow.
so he's a bit too perfect, and that's one problem I've got with this series. Not enough development on his side. So I guess we'll go on to his main assistant, I guess, is the cat girl, Corona. Say she was captured and enslaved. Her poor health led to her captors trying to kill her, which was a bit brutal. She was saved by a convenient chimera rampage and then by Amana. She's initially afraid of him, but comes around after he treats her condition, and she is going to be his assistant, and she's going and over the moon to try to learn medical knowledge. Not much really to say. She's a very stereotypical cat girl character.
Then we need to talk about the third main character, the most important of all main characters.
What, the slime?
No, his bag of holding. The amount of stuff that this guy carried into this world in this bag is absolutely astronomical.
I can understand one EpiPen, because you only had one EpiPen.
He's got an EpiPen, he's got disinfectant water, he's got an EKG machine, he's got syringes, he's got scalpels.
He had multiple different types of drugs. He had disinfectant water and stuff. He had a lot with him.
His bag is not that big.
No, and also, did it when it struck his house? Did it take all the content? Did it take quite a few medical contents as well?
He's got gauze. He's got a skin stapler.
Or he had he had basically a full surgeon's bag, didn't he? See, the full surgeon's tool set.
This is why in the other isekai it's stated that the gods give him this stuff, not just he brought it with him.
He doesn't even know why he's there. To be honest, he doesn't really question it very well, does he? Actually, he just goes, oh, "I'm here, okay."
Yeah, he also doesn't question why he gets covered in chimera blood, which has been stated to be highly toxic and deadly, and is perfectly fine.
Yeah. And I think the justification the manga tries to give is, it was only toxic and deadly because to all these other people because they never cleaned themselves afterwards, which I find highly unbelievable.
Like, he has blood in his eyes and goes for hours doing this operation with it. He should be infected regardless. It doesn't matter if he washes afterwards.
Yeah, they made the whole thing about, you need to clean your eyes, everything. But it's like, yeah, you were doing this operation for hours. Any blood in your eyes would have been absorbed by now. You're supposed to clean as literally as quickly as possible.
Out of everything in his entire bag of holding, there wasn't safety goggles. There was a mask, his safety gown, the gown that he does, but no goggles.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the series would soon after have him trying to find alternatives, but this.
Well, of course, the elves will make it for him.
Yeah, this series does feel very convenient. There's a lot of plot convenience in this series.
There is a lot with the medical stuff because they have to have the supplies and the knowledge.
It basically makes it quite clear that one doctor actually really going to this world without loads of bullshit would not do any good, really.
I mean, to a degree, if they were humanoids, yes, but he can somehow cure chimeras now.
I mean, to be fair, it was all he did was pull out a spear and stop the bleeding.
Yeah, but do you know how convenient it was that his scalpel can cut chimera flesh?
True.
Which is supposed to be one of the most powerful creatures in the world.
Well, I know from one of the chapter titles that one of his next patients is a dragon.
Oh, of course it is.
And I think one of the titles mentions about not about acid blood.
It's fine. He's immune somehow.
A slime friend will probably
God
be
will have granted him
conveniently
ridiculous
helping.
powers.
This ancient slime being probably will save him. So before I get into the art, have you got anything else to say about the characters?
No, the only ones you've really got is your main character, the main lady, douche grandfather, and the most not obviously blatant evil current priest.
Yeah, I'm going to whisper sweet nothings into your ear to the slave.
Because we haven't even we can't even say much about the elf ladies because they're just there. They haven't done much yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the characters haven't really done much, but I guess we'll go on to art then. This manga is reasonably well drawn.
I think it's really nice.
It uses dot shading for the first chapter and then smooth shading after. Which actually hurt my eyes, a dot shading, to be fair. I think the faces could be a little better, but it doesn't show manga. I mean, you do get some very nice drawn bits every now and then, which does show off the artist skill, but not much else to say about that.
Which the artist has not done anything else. We checked.
Aye. The designs, the main guy looks like a modern day doctor. Pretty smart looking, fits the role. Not much to say about that. Crony is pretty straightforward. Looks like the typical Beast Girl companion. Although I'll give her this, they gave her a lot smaller chest compared to her mangas, and they also gave her clothes that actually cover up.
Yeah, because in this
everything.
one, it's more about the medical knowledge, not the fan service.
Oh, there's no fan service in this. And
At least
seem like
I can
there's any
state there
romance,
is no
really.
fan service yet at this moment.
True,
I
I did
can't
see the
state that for
comments.
the future they won't be.
The comments make it sound like there isn't any, but yeah, it'll be a bit weird. Although to be fair, we had Cells at Work Code Black, and that was oh, that threw me off for a second when we got that. So I guess it could happen, but unlikely. And I guess finally, would I read more? And although I've thrown a few criticism here and there, it is different enough that I would, to the isekais, that I would flick through it a bit more. But it's definitely not going to win any points on the character side of things. It's more of interesting side of the world. But it has to move away from the tropey common isekai stuff, or else it won't keep me interested for too much longer. But I'm definitely going to read a bit more. About you?
It's only 23 chapters right now.
Yeah,
I might read a good couple more. I probably wouldn't read all the 23, but I might read a couple more. I at least want to get to the point after the elf bit. Because it's introduced the elf sickness. I'd rather finish that arc first.
I see. Yeah, it makes sense. Admittedly, he wanted to go there to build a hospital, so that probably be the next bit.
Yeah, and then he'll provide free or sort of free treatments, and then the humans are going to get annoyed. And then they're going to get into conflict with the humans.
be interesting how much he actually deals with conflict, actual physical conflict.
Well, he has no combat skill, but I bet all his minions do.
All his friends do. But be interesting to see how to do that because obviously he's the one who has to.
Who knows? He might have
If
industrial
any of his,
acids in his bag of holding.
especially if any of his friends get mortally wounded, that could be a good, interesting out that you're the medic who has
I mean,
to. The main
he
character's the
does
medic has
have
to
the
save their
combat
life.
prowess of having the Chimera.
Yeah, and the slime, the OP slime. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that the main character is a bit bland. If there's a bit more world depth, you could have a really interesting section where he's having to like save a friend. That would be really interesting from a medical main character point of view.
Well, I think it's chapter 5 in the first couple of pages. It introduces people from the human party, and one of them says he has to run away because he can't heal.
And the other one doesn't want to.
So
Yeah.
he's like maybe in a position of he's told people he can, but can't, and he's going to join their party eventually.
Or maybe their healing only works on lesser sicknesses and doesn't work on bigger sicknesses. Like strong ones, like ones where people are really badly.
Or not so much sicknesses, but it works on wounds and injuries.
Yeah.
That's quite a common
It seems
trope.
interesting that the female of those two healers actually wasn't too happy about leaving, so she'll probably have a redemption thing and he'll be probably picked off.
Maybe. I mean, that is canon. Usually, it is usually the female characters who are more important in these.
Especially if the protagonist is male.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't particularly approve of that, but it does sell.
It does sell, yeah.
And that is why it's common. I understand.
And it also goes with the stereotype that women are more caring.
To be fair, there are a lot more female nurses. That's just how it is.
Yeah, not as much these days, but yeah. It is what it is.
I can accept that trope, it's fine.
Anyway, we've talked a bit on this one. So I guess after finishing these two, we need to get our next two for next time. So we will click the randomizer. This time I'll pick the genre of mystery.
Mystery, alright.
And we have the manga called Angel Heart.
Angel Heart, was it?
Angel Heart. Wow.
Angel Heart.
It's currently up since November 28th. We have chapter 306, volume 28. It's a long-going series, then.
This seems vaguely familiar.
It's just a little.
Alright, Angel Heart it is.
A young assassin codenamed Glassheart. It's suicide about jumping off a building and the heart was pierced by a metal fence. Okay.
It's not Japanese, I don't believe either. I think it's because it's a Taiwanese assassin.
Oh, yeah, it's a Thai, yeah, it's Taiwanese. Miraculously, her life was saved by a heart transplant during her recovery from a mixture. Oh, so yeah.
And then they go to Japan.
And then she's getting memories of the donor.
Okay.
That reminds me of like a thriller.
Yeah, it seems familiar.
Film where there was this guy who got like eye transplants. And the eyes were from a wolf, but the wolf thought it got taken in, got mauled to death by other wolves. So he keeps reliving like the flashbacks. And
this series is a sequel.
What, Angel Heart's a sequel?
It says there, who happens to be Kaori Makamura from the Fortnite Patter of City Hunter, and City Hunter is another series that he made. So it's either set in the same universe or is a sequel. Interesting.
It looks like it's set in the same universe rather than a sequel.
Right, cool, I'm good for that.
It's a quite yeah, because City Hunter had a sequel called Rebirth. There you go. So it's set in the same universe. That's wow. It's you can tell it's a bit more of an old school style looking kind of manga. Nice to go back to some of them. This guy's been doing loads of stuff. Okay.
All right, then what's his second genre?
Our second one is isekai.
Oh, here we go.
We have to get these out of the way. Let's be fair.
A lot of them are garbage, but let's go. What did it pick?
Tanbo di Hiro Ota Onakishi Inake de Orono Yomida. So Omomachi.
Send it to me on chat so I can see it.
Isekai. You know it's isekai when it has a ridiculous name.
Go on, send it to me on chat.
English title is Female Knight in a Rice Field. Pasting it to you now. Yeah, female knight in a rice field in the countryside. They think she's my wife. Oh, no, I found the female knight in a rice field. Okay.
Okay. What's the?
A farmer living in a small country discovers unconscious female knight in the rice field one morning. She calls herself Sephirin, and she seems to have come from another world. Okay. Also, it's not even so. The person from another world is not the main character, but the supporting character. All right.
You've actually found an isekai I don't know, and firstly, didn't find one that was incredibly with slaves or just terrible.
Wholesome. It's got.
It does seem. Yeah.
She has no knowledge as well, nowhere to go. It's also interesting to have an isekai where the main character is not the isekai person. It's actually the supporting character, the main side character, who is the isekai person. And it doesn't look like she's getting any powers. She's just come from the world, and that's it. Okay, interesting. I thought it'd be interesting to read a different style of isekai, which we need because too many isekais are exactly the bloody same.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. All right, so that's just two for the next episodes then.
Okay, so until next time, guys, goodbye.